With goals, one of the things that I like to do is share some stories as I go through this and kind of explain how some of these things have been really impactful and led to big transformation in my life. And coming out of the Strong First training, as I have, I've spent 5 or 6 years accruing different certifications, but I was able to work with one of the master instructors who was in charge of training all of the trainers and coaches at Strong First for all of Southern California, which is a huge region. And the first time I worked with him, he asked me, he's like, so what do you want to work on? Like, what's your goal? And I just went on and on and on about, I want to do everything. And he said, okay, well, if you were going to pick one thing, like what's your primary, and I specifically remember him saying that word, primary, what's your primary goal? And I thought about it, and I had to really figure out like, well, I don't know which one of the like 30 things I want to do is like the primary thing. And he said that especially when it comes to strength or physical performance, quite often people don't accomplish the goals because they're doing too many things. And so his philosophy, which I thought was brilliant, was to have no more than one primary and one secondary goal. And his specific example was, maybe you want to get a lot stronger in your overhead press. So that's your main goal. And then secondarily, maybe you want to deadlift more. And so you have like an upper body and a lower body, because those are two different systems. And so I think that is something that could really be applicable to people. So for the kind of average person, like maybe they want to connect more with their family. So that's their kind of like personal goal, and that's their primary goal. And then secondarily, maybe they want to perform better at work. And so their secondary goal is the other system. So you have the family goal and you have the professional goal. One's primary, one's secondary. But the other way to look at it, and this is the other thing that my coach said, is sometimes you have a now goal, such as a month from now, I want to be able to do 100 push-ups. And so we're going to build this whole month, every single day, days on, days off, everything we do is going to be towards accomplishing that goal. And everything else can be pushed off to the side. And then maybe the secondary goal is, at the end of the year, I really want to go run maybe a marathon or a half marathon. So that's a long goal. It's a big goal. And it's a goal that's going to take time to do. And you can kind of work on that here and there as the days and the months go by. But the primary goal, that's the one that we need to work on now, and we need to think about every day. Now, the thing that's interesting about having a kind of short primary goal and a long secondary goal is you may find that every month you have a new 30-day primary goal or challenge or thing that you're working on. Like, what am I working on this month? It's this. Okay, what am I going to work on next month? Well, that's that. Okay, so this month I'm going to get to use the push-up example, I'm really going to get my push-ups dialed, and I'm going to do push-ups every day or whatever the training might be. Well, you can still work on that long-term goal, but you might have a different focus every month. So that leads me into the thought of what I call the 30-day challenge or the 30-day experiment. And quite often on Instagram and TikTok and all these social media things, you'll see people offering these 30-day challenges. BuzzFeed does a lot of videos like this. I did 100 push-ups every day for 30 days. I did CrossFit every day for 30 days. And they do these transformational things. Now, the great thing about having a 30-day challenge is you can see a massive result in a short amount of time. The difficulty is maintaining that. So if, for instance, someone's a smoker and they really want to stop smoking for good, it's a lot easier to stop smoking for 30 days than it is to stop smoking forever. But part of stopping smoking or starting doing push-ups every day is that habit. And the nice thing about a 30-day experiment or challenge is sometimes it takes you a little while to get going. You might say tonight, like, oh, tomorrow I'm going to do 10 push-ups every morning. And then tomorrow you wake up and you're late and you don't do them, and you don't notice until the next day. You're like, oh, I didn't do them yesterday. Oh, I didn't do them this morning either. So now I'm 2 days behind, and you almost feel like you failed before you even started. Well, if you're doing a 30-day challenge and you miss 2 days, you still have 28 days. You have plenty of time to figure out, well, maybe doing push-ups first thing in the morning doesn't work for me. Maybe I'll do them when I get home before I have dinner. Like I can take off my work clothes, I'll put on a pair of shorts, I can relax, and I'll just, as long as I do my 10 push-ups before I eat, maybe that works better. That might take you a week or two to figure out. Well, part of you figuring out how do I get this new habit going is you moving towards that becoming an actual habit that is sustainable. So success isn't necessarily, I decided I'm going to do this every day and I did it every day. Success is figuring out, how do I make this something that fits into my life and works for me? And having 30 days to figure that out, you may find that halfway through you go, 10 push-ups a day, that doesn't really work. I'd rather do like 20 or 30 push-ups every other day, or maybe Monday through Friday, and then I rest on the weekends. So again, that isn't a failure of the goal. That's you figuring out, how does this goal actually serve what I really want? Because what I really want isn't to do a certain number of push-ups every day. It's probably, I want to get fitter. I want to get stronger. I want to have more healthy habits in my life. So when we think about creating our primary and our secondary goals, whether they're short-term or long-term, I would encourage you to think about, what is that really accomplishing for you? If your goal is to go for a walk every day, why is that your goal? Why do you want to do that? If your goal is to have a family dinner once a week, why is that the goal? What is that family dinner going to accomplish? If the goal is, I'm going to turn my phone off so that way in the morning I don't wake up and it's the first thing I do is look at my phone for 20 minutes. What is accomplished if that's your goal? So in the book, you'll see there's a questionnaire. I think it's about 2 pages. And it has a lot of these, hopefully, deep questions that'll lead you into figuring some of this stuff out. Because if you just have the goal of, I'm going to do X, and you haven't put the thought in of why and how it's going to move you to what you really want long term, then that may not actually serve you. So we challenge you to, and again, this isn't homework. You don't need to show them to me. You don't need to hand them in. You don't even need to write them down, although I encourage you to write them down, because not only is the act of physicalizing the answer by writing it down or even typing it going to help you to process it more deeply, but it also enables you to look back on it later. And again, because this is an 8-week course, you may find that in week 7 or 8, you look back to some of the questions you answered at the beginning, and you may be surprised at where you were then. Or you may be surprised that, nope, this is exactly what I wanted, and I'm still there, and it hasn't wavered at all.
Now I sit upon this mountain, breathing cleaner air than before.